Welcome to Cebu. Cebu is one of the provinces in the Philippines and it is without a doubt one of the reasons why it is more fun in the Philippines. You can get to this location by ship or ferry or an airplane. It is not the only the fascinating sites and rich historical sites that distinguish Cebu from other tourist destinations, but also and most importantly the heartwarming environment that the inhabitants provide us as they welcome us to their place. I will undoubtedly make you feel at ease. Let's apply the 5 laws including the UNWTO Global Code of Tourism in Cebu Province, together with the improved existing laws and new proposed laws.
Set. In Cebu Province, labor laws are governed by the Philippines Labor Code and other relevant laws and regulations, which set out the minimum standards for employment in the country. These laws cover a wide range of topics including employment, contracts, working hours, minimum wages, benefits, and termination of employment. As of September 2021, the minimum wage rates in Cebu Province are as follows. Non-agriculture sector, 404 pesos per day for establishments with more than 10 workers. 396 pesos per day for establishments with 10 workers or less. Agricultural sector, we have 396 pesos per day. Retail and service establishments employing 15 workers or less. And 396 pesos per day for those in the cities of Danao, Talisay, Naga, Carcar, and the municipalities of Compostela, Consolacion, Cordova, Liloan, Minglanila, and San Fernando. The decision whether to set the minimum wage in urban areas in the Philippines is just the same as rural areas depends on various factors and can be a complex issue. There are arguments both for and against equalizing the minimum wage in urban and rural areas. On one hand, proponents of equalizing the minimum wage argue that workers in both urban and rural areas should be paid the same minimum wage rate as they both perform essential labor, and this could help reduce the wage gap and promote greater equity in the labor market. It is right to enact a law for the workers of Cebu Province to make the minimum wage of urban areas to rural areas just the same. This decision to set the minimum wage in urban and rural areas at the same level or not should be based on careful consideration of the specific economic, social, and cultural conditions of each area. It is important to consult with relevant stakeholders such as labor unions, businesses, and government agencies to determine the appropriate minimum wage levels for each area.
Many news reports are circulating regarding child labor in Cebu, which means child labor remains prevalent in the said province. Actually, last November 2021, DOLE gives 4.6 million aid to parents of Cebu's child laborers. Although we have existing law, which is the Republic Act 7610 as amended by 7658 that covers the issue of child labor, it remained unresolved. The Republic Act 7658 states that 15 years old and above are allowed to work with certain exemptions. However, this law does not clearly define child labor, and neither does the law differentiate it from childbirth. There is also no clear definition of what type of employments are allowed and would be considered endangering the life, safety, health, and morals of the child. Therefore, it is subject to different interpretations. In addition, this law does not answer the problem of child labor as they do not provide programs to address and prevent the issue from happening. With that, the existing law should strengthen the responsibilities of the concerned government agencies, particularly DOLE, which should implement programs on child labor. The law should also discuss advocacy programs and give incentives to companies who are not engaging in child labor, to give them advantage or competitive advantage from their competitors. In that way, companies will be encouraged to do the same, and that will help in eliminating child labor.
Set. Cebu is an abundant area that has a lot to offer for their locals and in the country. Since both local businesses and trading are some of the means of income and jobs in Cebu, we believe that improving laws or creating ordinances regarding those two will highly benefit everyone involved. Because of Cebu's growing business and trade industry, an ordinance that supports local businesses and encourages people to buy locally made products can help it grow even more. One strong argument for this is that purchasing locally produced goods helps the specific area to develop further because the money circulates and generates in the area itself. In relation to that, Vice Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia actually proposed an ordinance where it seeks for mandatory promotion and procurement of locally made goods and services. This is to help the growth of Cebu's micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises or MSMEs. It's an ordinance that aims to promote and improve entrepreneurship and MSMEs in their community. The proposed ordinance will surely play a beneficial role in enhancing and strengthening the business industry of Cebu.
Hi, good day. I'm Aina Hasekawa and I'm here to discuss the connection of commercial law in Cebu. The city of Cebu's economy is mainly driven by trading. Cebu has established itself as the main economic stronghold in the Visayas region. With support from the local government, the province has emerged as one of the key cities in the region for private businesses. Some steps should be done to improve or at least to have a better trade policy in Cebu, Philippines. The government should immediately undertake a review of the existing legislative restrictions and laws in the emerging markets in Cebu. Further, strictly impose an administrative sanction such as revoking the business permits of violators. Next would be strengthening an open and inclusive trading system. One way is improving the communication between government and businesses on the effects of trade and common rules. The inclusiveness of trade has to be strengthened so that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from its vast advantages. Cebu should collectively advocate for free and fair trade. And last but not the least, prioritizing the strengthening of measures and ordinances to support the growing local business sector. The local administration should adopt necessary changes and adjustments to promote the province as the next key location in the Visayas region. The government and other stakeholders should take pride in sustaining the standards in business policy making and investment promotions in Cebu.
Mabuhay! In Cebu Province, civil law issues are handled by the Regional Trial Court and Municipal Trial Courts, which are responsible for resolving disputes related to civil law. These disputes may include issues related to property ownership, inheritance, contracts, and family law matters such as divorce and child custody. The Civil Code of the Philippines applies to the province of Cebu, and there are also local ordinances and regulations that may supplement or modify the national laws. For example, in Cebu, there are specific regulations related to land use and zoning which may impact property ownership and development. There are many properties in Cebu, and what are those? That's including the establishments such as malls, resorts, restaurants, hotels, real estates, and the likes. Recently, Cebu real estate market growth halted by traffic gridlock, and we all know that traffic is a nuisance in most urban areas of the Philippines. And this problem could eventually impact Cebu real estate market growth as people may look elsewhere when buying a new home or condominium or delay purchasing decisions until there is more clarity regarding government plans to reduce congestion. There should be law or ordinance to prevent nuisances. First, premises to keep and maintain the same in its condition, and that in case of failure to do so after 60 days from the date of serving a written notice, the cost thereof be assessed to the owner of the property shall constitute a lien against the property. Second, if we have to acquire, take, condemn, or appropriate more land and property, we should check the location zone regulations established in accordance with law or adopted by the ordinance. It is vital to follow laws and regulations. So without it, there would be conflicts between the communities. Thank you.
As mentioned by Riza Dantes, properties and establishments in Cebu City are everywhere. However, Cebu's land use is becoming one of the problems that the city is facing. This is further exacerbated by land plans and zoning ordinances of some LGUs being outdated and needing revision to bridge the gap between what is planned and what is built. Out of Metro Cebu's land area of 11,163 km, about 15% of the land is already used for urban purposes. Considering the geographical conditions which naturally limit the availability of Metro Cebu's developable land, 25% of total land area. LGUs have to prioritize managing their land resources sustainably through a compact city model to ensure that Metro Cebu remains productive, competitive, and inclusive. One of the recommendations we have to resolve this problem is to update LGU's Comprehensive Land Use Plans or CLUP and zoning ordinances to sustainably direct growth through a compact city model, thereby avoiding lock-ins which would be costly to reverse in the future. Another one would be to produce a comprehensive redevelopment plan for urban centers, placing priority on developing unused land and promoting mixed land use with high-density housing.
Out of Metro Cebu's total land area of 1,163.40 km square, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development estimates that 15 km squared are already in use for urban purposes. The long-term expansion and efficient operation of the urban system in Metro Cebu are threatened by the lack of integrated, high-capacity mode of public transportation throughout the metropolitan area. Traffic congestion and pollution are exacerbated by the rising automobile ownership and use. Having said that, it is important to integrate the bus rapid transit system with other modes of transportation. Additionally, it is important to promote clean transportation options, including rail systems, ferries, e-jeepneys, and shared bike programs while also putting the required infrastructure in place. In light with this, a law should be enacted to create a high-capacity public transportation system and to promote low-emission modes of transportation such as bicycles and walking ferries through the creation of much-needed infrastructure and other related programs that should mitigate the congestion and traffic pollution in the Metro Cebu. An integrated transport master plan can be used to support this law by establishing transportation authorities in charge of raising funds for investments and ensure the implementation of the said law. Under this proposed law, the LGU can also monitor the number of limited private vehicles by limiting the number of days that these vehicles are to be used and in order to reduce the rate of congestion while also encouraging the use of public transportation.
The province of Cebu is home to thriving towns and has a lot of room for expansion and improvement. Recognizing the value of accountable local government, transparency, and active public participation, the province can propose the enactment of the Cebu Local Governance Empowerment Act. This law seeks to support community-driven development in Cebu City by promoting transparent and accountable governance, strengthening local government systems, and increasing public engagement. It highlights the value of training for municipal officials, fosters citizen engagement through a variety of channels, and supports open decision-making. Additionally, the Act places a focus on the empowerment of barangays, smallest administrative units, and seeks to fight corruption by bolstering anti-corruption measures. Additionally, the Cebu Local Governance Empowerment Act places a heavy emphasis on battling corruption through improved anti-corruption measures, financial auditing, conflict of interest legislation, and whistleblower protection. By passing this law, Cebu hopes to establish a more inclusive, responsible, and citizen-centered form of governance that takes into account the unique requirements and ambitions of its many distant populations. Cebu can work to develop a framework for the governance that supports citizen empowerment, democratic participation, and responsible governance. This law aims to encourage inclusive and sustainable development in the province of Cebu by releasing the full potential of the communities there.
Mabuhay! My name is Michael. Let's go to UNWTO. The latest development recognizing the remarkable work of the local community of Boho. The Boho Aluginsan Ecotourism Association, or VITAS, and the strong support of the municipality of Aluginsan. The wealth of our natural resources and unmatched hospitality remains our key strength as we strive for the reopening of the industry for international travelers, anchored on this principle of safe and sustainable tourism. Likewise, the said program has been launched to advance the role of tourism as a tool for rural development. With this aim, the value of safeguard rural villages along with their associated landscapes and knowledges systems among others. Because of this recognition by the UNWTO, Cebu VITAS should improve and focus on their development of the GSET, or the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, especially on Articles 4 and 5. Article 4 and 5 recognizing that tourism resources belong to the humanities community. Heritage, policies, and activities should strive to protect and pass on this cultural heritage from future generations. And also, local communities must be involved with tourism activities and share equitably in economic, social, and cultural for the benefit of the host countries and communities itself. That is all. Thank you. Take it away, Miss Ate.
It is said that UNWTO strives to promote tourism development that supports equal measure, the conservation of biodiversity, the social welfare, and the economic security of the host countries and communities. Some of the problems living in Cebu includes its frequent typhoons, limited transportation, and lack of job opportunities. UNWTO was also focused to these problems to better and improve the city. Over the past years, they cooperate with ILO, International Labor Organization, with agreement of employment in the area and decent work in tourism. We can see that Cebu really is competitive in terms to their tourism and hospitality. A lot of beautiful places tourism spots are there. That is why UNWTO should create a plan to further sustain it and improve it, but also build and develop something new since it can also create job opportunities and such. Like what has said, Boho in Alugisan gained international recognition by UNWTO. Since a lot of tourists now are going to visit there, they should focus on protecting it so it cannot be destroyed. Overall, there is a lot of beautiful places to visit in Cebu.